Let's dive straight into it. I have a clean Drupal 10 installation with a custom field called clean, and I just have a page layout here overriding everything I don't need. Also, I have a custom module called cast, where I'm defining a route cast controller under the path home, and this is my controller which renders a high-var markup. Let's have a look at the page. It's as clean as that, just the markup. So now let's install the wire itself. Wire is available as a package on packages.org, so we'll use Composer to install it. Composer require wire Drupal wire. Package is installed now, and since this is a Drupal module, we have to enable it. I have an alias as triple Ds, which means ddev trash, so I'll use this to enable it. Wire has been enabled now, and it's located under our contrib folder. Let's create our first component. Wire integrates nicely with Drush, specifically with Drush generate command, so we can use the following command: ddev drush generate wire. Here I'm being asked of a module where this is going to be located, which is cast in my case, a label I should give to my component. I'll call it contact. We need to confirm whether we are okay with the suggested ID and the class. Also, we are being asked if we want it to be an inline template or a separate template. For now, I'll say that I want to have a separate template for this component. Next prompt is whether we need any dependencies, and I don't need them now. That's all. Now our component is ready to be extended. What happened here? Two files have been created. One is the PHP class, which represents a Drupal plugin, so it's located under src plugin wire component. And the other file is our template, which is a twig file. This is our boilerplate template to give us a start. And let's just replace these three dots with the word contact. Looking at the generated PHP class, as I mentioned, this is an extension of Drupal plugin system, so it's the same thing as you would define a block. You just define wire component in annotation where you specify ID, label. A label is optional, it's not mandatory. And this component should extend the base wire component class. This class implements only one method for now, a render method, which is the way to tell our component what template is going to be used to render this component. Okay, but how to see it on the page, you might ask? We have two ways to include our wire components on pages. First is via renderable array. Instead of a markup, I can specify that this is going to be a type of wire, and we have to specify the wire ID, which is the ID we have chosen when generating the component, contact in our case. Let's visit our page, refreshing. Sure enough, we have the contact string, which we specified in our component template. Let's give it some more meaning by editing it as contact us. And that's all about including the component via renderable array. However, there is a second method of how to include a wire component. For this, let me return back my page to render just the markup. And we'll open my page layout override in my theme, so I can include my wire component via a wire function. The function is called wire as a twig function, where we can just specify our component ID. Let me edit the template so it's clear that this is being included from the template. Let's see our page. If we refresh, we see that we have hi there from the controller markup and the content of our component. Alright, that worked. Let me remove this hi there markup so it doesn't confuse us. So far so good. Let's try to do some more advanced stuff. For example, let's pass some variables from our PHP class into our template. Let's assume that in this component we are retrieving some data from the database, and this data will be passed into our template. I'll define this data as a variable who equals sales. In a way, who are we contacting? The sales team. And we can pass this variable as the second argument in our view from TPL static method and pass the variable as who. Now we can use this variable in our template. And since it's a Twig template, we can use normal Twig syntax for printing a variable. And if we visit our page, refreshing, we see that the string passed from our PHP component via a variable has been printed on our page. Alright, these are the basics of how you would render a static component, and this might remind you of Drupal's custom theme declaration, where you would define a theme, a variables it would accept, and its template. But trust me, Wire has to offer a lot more than this, and this is just the beginning, so stick with me.